Hi, and thank you for joining me for another video. And friends, today we're on the last two parashiot of the whole Torah, Parashat Haazinu and Vezos Haberachah. And friends, being that we're at the end of the Torah, the obvious question that must be asked is, what did we learn? In other words, how has this book made us an ethical force to be reckoned with, at least compared to the rest of the world's religions out there? And friends, this is really all that matters. In other words, outside of this, calling yourself a Jew is equivalent to calling yourself a Crip or a Blood. In other words, if your belief system does not make you better, and in turn make your surroundings better, one, you're either in the wrong belief system, or two, you do not properly understand your religion. And friends, I'll tell you, there is nothing wrong with Torah, but rather, the problem is primarily with our teachers, which is why the first Parashat Haazinu, begins and at the same time ends the Torah by reminding us about our tactical plan. Actually, two things. And what's that? Well, the first, on how worthy of emulating is our God. As it states in the beginning of the Parsha, He is the rock, His works are perfect, and all His ways are just. A faithful God who does no wrong. Upright and just is He. And friends, this is really a notion that has escaped us today. The notion of emulating our Creator. Why? Because this is what Torah Judaism is all about. And this, my friends, has always been the signature of a true religion. In other words, historically, when man invented a belief system, their gods emulated man. I mean, they would cheat, they would steal, they would even rape. No, friends, but when the Almighty Himself delivers the path to walk in, man emulates His Creator, and not the other way around. In other words, just as He is merciful, we should be merciful. Just as He gave us Torah, we should give others Torah. Are you beginning to get it now? Because, friends, this is what it means to walk in the ways of Hashem, to do and act as He does. However, today we have created a Jewish culture that emulates anything but Him, whether it's characters like Woody Allen, Seinfeld, Fiddler on the Roof, or hysterical Jewish mothers. No, friends, we have become the antithesis of a Torah Jew. So it's time to wake up, especially now that we're at the end of the Torah, starting again. And friends, this leads us to the second lesson found in the Parsha, and it's actually one of the most damaging notions that has crippled the Jewish people today, and that's that man, without an embodied set of instructions, without a divine ethical goal, is powerless and ultimately useless in every way. And this could not have been better demonstrated than by the Israelites in the desert. Clearly, as the text states, a stiff-necked people. A people that, in my opinion, the Almighty used to prove that ethnicity in itself means nothing, and how intrinsic worth does not exist either. Another evident and clear example that Hashem is no respecter of persons, no matter what you may have heard, reminding us that through every Parsha that we've read till today, that if He could use them, He could use anyone willing to make themselves pliable to divine reproach. Which is why one of the silliest sights one can witness nowadays is when ethnic, irreligious, or religious Jews take pride in their ethnicity, stating that, oh well, we are chosen apart from our belief and our behavior, but rather because of our heritage. And they'll not only claim chosenhood only because of blood, but will even go as far as to state that because of their so-called Jewish soul, they're superior to every non-Jew, whether they follow Torah or not. Well, friends, not according to this Torah. Actually, history has shown us that heritage and culture does not mix well with religion. Why? Because it is Torah that is our heritage and Torah that is our culture. And anything else attempting to attach itself to the mix only ends up diluting the source. And I would even have to say that today it's mainly heritage and culture that keeps most ethnic Jews from embracing outsiders coming into Judaism, which, if you didn't know already, is the point of it all. When Torah itself does not belong or limit itself to some ethnicity or some region, but rather it is the inheritance of anyone who wants to work hard enough to be called Israel. Which is why even Chazal wrote that the reason Matan Torah occurred in the desert is because the desert belongs to no one, so that no one would later say that they had the privilege to have it occur within their borders. To the point that even in this parsha, right after it describes the greatness of our Creator, it states that when we stray, we are no longer His children. In other words, no longer chosen, special, in the covenant, or any other way you want to phrase it. Why? Because the job of the child was always to emulate his parents. And no, friends, unconditional love is not a Torah concept, no matter who your mother was, which is another area where Jews nowadays fail to emulate the Creator in how they virtually worship supposed Jewish blood above everything else, and then toss out sincere individuals from other ethnicities to the curb. Is that the character of our Creator? When throughout these books we're constantly reminded that Hashem is doing this and that so that all the people of the world could know this and all the people in the world could know that. To the point that he even states this about how the people of the world would be able to learn from the Israelites, when it states that by keeping these mitzvot, all the peoples would say, what a wise and discerning nation. Why? Just to raise our egos? Bull crap. To join us, my friends. And again, friends, the reason this notion is so important, especially now, is because we have just finished the Torah. So again, what did we learn? How did it make us, or how did it make you better? And this, my friends, is why it is so dangerous to allow later works or even individuals to give an authoritative interpretation to these 5 books. Whether it's the Zohar or Midrashim that stray from the Parashat. Friends, if the essence of the Torah cannot be understood by the average 9-year-old, it's got nothing to say to anyone. And this is one of the main reasons people nowadays who identify themselves with Torah Judaism practice everything but Torah. Why? Because many of these commentaries took the practical from within this book and they made it spiritual, and even taken many of the curses and made them into blessings, which is actually what made this text superior and above all the rest in the first place, because it had a plan and not just an agenda. A plan that was goodness, no matter the consequences. And you're probably saying to yourself, Asher just likes bashing Jews. No, friends, look, I wish I could give you some better news or some happy report on how great the Jewish people are. But friends, I'm sorry, this is not what this Torah is stating parsha after parsha. Actually, I would say that it must take great skill to be able to twist the messages in these 5 books weekly and in some way have them praise the Jewish people week after week for their intrinsic worth, like most rabbis do today. I mean, skill bundled with a nice congregational salary. And then, friends, we wonder why we never improve. Well, anyways, the Perek sums it up perfectly after this. It states that Hashem is good and worth emulating, and you know what? We are not. That no matter how hard He tried to properly educate that first generation, they just didn't want to learn. But you know what? That gave Him the opportunity to demonstrate to us the grandeur of His mercy. So friends, from now on, before you believe or accept anything as true in the name of Torah, you must always ask yourself, first, does this either build up or confirm either the words or the theme found in this book? And friends, if it doesn't, toss it out. So friends, now that we have reached the end of these 5 books, you're probably asking, what's the point of it all? Friends, the point is learn good, do good, and encourage others to do the same by encouraging them also to enter under the wings of the Shekhinah. So go out there and start spreading Torah. If you're interested in joining the Jewish people through conversion, please visit doordea.com. And for everything Jewish, please visit bejewish.org. Thank you.